Hey everyone, we are just a few months away, like very few, 3, from the 2021 Global TapRooT Summit. It's going to be a very special event this year because we are going to be in person in Knoxville, Tennessee, so you can come in person. And for those that can't come yet due to COVID, we are going to have a virtual element to this.
Virtual!
We're really learning a lot, aren't we?
Yep, it's going to be a really unique experience, and I think it's really, that hybrid element is going to be, I think, a really interesting one.
Yeah, I do too, and we've talked to several people who've kind of been through some of these, and they've really enjoyed the platforms and the platform that we're going to be using to do ours. So you'll still get to do that networking. You may even get to do a little more networking and have a little more access to some people that's harder to get to sometimes, because when you're out there looking for people, it's like you play Ring Around the Rosie.
You're just chasing them in person. And this one we can lock them down.
But so this is great. We're looking forward to it. Alex is here today to talk about the track that he's in charge of, and that is the compliance track. So Alex, tell us a little bit about who this track is for.
So this track was focused, this is a brand new track for the summit, and it came out of some conversations we had with a couple different groups last year. And we were talking about, we had a couple from the regulators side with some EPA regulators and investigators in there. We had some people that were in more risk management kind of positions. And they were saying, we really want to learn more about how can you apply TapRooT in the compliance areas and risk managements, in looking at it from a standpoint of how do I shore up my organization's management systems and things like that to make sure that we're compliant with regulations, but also making sure that we're compliant with that continuous improvement mindset.
Absolutely.
And so that's really what this track is focusing on. So we're going to have kind of a mix of best practices from those in the industry and regulators and people that are looking at how do you stop mistakes and how do you shore up and improve your systems.
Sounds like a perfect new addition to the summit.
I think it will be a really unique addition, and I think it's going to be one of those tracks that people are going to be really interested in checking out more in the future.
Yeah, well, let's tell them a little bit about what's in the track. The first session is our TapRooT users best practices, and we've got 3 TapRooT users who are going to share something they're doing in their company that they feel is possibly unique and could benefit your company.
Yep, and that's going to be one of those. In the track, we actually have a couple different best practices. So that first one there is best practice, as well as at the end of the track, the very last session of the track, we've got a building a robust RCA program through utilizing of lessons learned. So it's going to be focused on how do you utilize lessons learned, build it into your system to make sure that you're continuously improving your RCA program.
Well, it sounds like a good start and finish to the track.
Yeah.
The next session is gaining management support for improvement.
Yeah, and again, it's I think what's really important when you're thinking about your management system, when you're thinking about how are we going to comply, follow the rules, make sure the rules are followed in an organization, that management support element of it is so important because your management dictates your culture and your culture dictates behavior. And so you've got to have that alignment so that your people are going to be following the rules.
You've got to have that buy-in so you can get these things accomplished, because we know a lot of our clients out there, they're doing their best to get stuff done, but sometimes they run into roadblocks through management issues.
You definitely don't want to be fighting your management to get things done.
You want to work together. Accident, negligence, or knowing conduct, how federal criminal law enforcement views environmental incidents.
So this is a session that I'm actually really excited about. It's got 3 people from the EPA are coming in. We've got Mike Fisher, who's the Director of Legal Counsel with the EPA, as well as 2 EPA investigators. Let's see, it's Matt Growers and Tyler Amon. And these guys, I was chatting with them last year at Summit, and this is going to be a really special session because it's going to be a best practice sharing of how do you keep your company out of court.
That's great.
And how to not be in criminal court that's a really good thing we all want to know.
Absolutely.
As well as it's going to be kind of a session that's a little bit of how do you work with criminal investigators? How do you make sure that you're keeping an open investigation, keeping away from bias, and making sure that you're not creating an adversarial relationship with regulators? Because at the end of the day, regulators aren't there to get you and put you in handcuffs. Or at least these guys that's not the way they see their job. So they really want to make sure that industry understands what you need to do and what you need to be doing in order to keep yourself out of that criminal court.
Very important information. Admiral Rickover and conservative decision making with Mark Paradise. He has the greatest Admiral Rickover stories there are.
So this is a really good talk for this track too, and it kind of ties in with that last one of thinking about how do you keep yourself out of court, and how do you, as a business, make sure that you're making decisions and you're pushing the right behaviors, and you're not making management decisions that are going to cut corners, that you're not making management decisions that are all about profit and not about safety, for example.
Absolutely,
and so he's going to cover that, and that's a really, really interesting talk, and it's actually really similar to some of the points that we make in our Stopping Human Error course before the summit.
Right.
And so that ties in really well with that, as well as he's got another one that's in the same kind of mindset of how do you build a better organization, which is his other one, which is how to stop normalization and deviation.
That's a great topic. I love that topic.
It's such an interesting topic, is looking at how do you stop people. You know, there's a famous graphic that everybody sees that talks, this is how we believed work is going to be. This is what it actually looks like performed. And that topic of how do you stop people that from being the norm is performing the abnormal. Let's make excellence the normal.
Absolutely.
And so I love this talk. It's always one of my favorites just to listen to Mark talking about how do you make normalization of excellence versus normalization of deviation.
Great goal. Absolute great goal. We have a video Mark and I did on that not terribly long ago that we could link to give people a little taste of what they might see in that. But it's absolutely a great goal for all organizations. Well, you already kind of talked a little bit about the wrap up.
There's one more. There's one more you missed on there.
Oh, I
which
did?
is it's improving.
I need to be in the human error
Well,
course.
I was jumping around on you. It's improving management
systems.
Improving management system compliance using TapRooT. And this is, of course, Nancy Hitchens. She's come in and taught with us several times about how do you integrate TapRooT with your ISO, how do you integrate it with your different kind of regulatory, those different compliance elements, and how do you utilize these different tools that TapRooT gives us? Because it's not just an RCA system. It's systems for auditing. It's systems for evaluating processes. There's different tools with CHAP, with change analysis, things like that you could be utilizing in your compliance and in your management system.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really interesting course. She got teased a little bit last year during our joke speaker because he talked about how boring her stuff sounded with the ISO.
I remember that. That was so funny.
It killed. And she took that to heart, and so she's jazzing up this year. This is going to be. This is the most exciting one to go to. Is what I hear from her. So I think it's going to be a really interesting one.
She's fantastic.
Looking about how you practically apply tools in your ISO and other compliance standards.
She's wonderful. She's got so much practical knowledge because she's out there all the time doing these things.
Absolutely.
So you definitely want to look at that session for sure. I'm glad you didn't let me skip that one, Alex. Thank you. So one of the things he mentioned in what we were talking about is the how to stop human error, stopping human error pre-summit course. It's a good one to line up in this, so you might want to think about it. I think I should take it again.
It was a lot of fun. It was the first time we debuted it was last summit.
Yeah.
So this will be the second. This will be the third time we've taught it, but it's the second time for the summit that we've taught it. And it got rave reviews last year, and I think this year it's going to be just as good, if not better. And that element of the virtual people interacting with the people in person, I think we're going to make some really interesting dynamics and conversations out of that.
Oh, that one last year had fantastic conversations in it to start with, because you take all those different human performance tools and different companies use different ones, and so getting to hear their side of things on why they use them and how they use them, and then integrate them in there with TapRooT.
Yeah, and that's a really fun one because it's all about understanding what tools exist and which tools you should be applying in your organization and how. And that's a really it's a really engaging back and forth. And what I've felt is that students that leave that course really should have a really good idea of what they want to go back and work on in their organization. So it's a really great opportunity for managers, directors, supervisors, people that run a group. It's a really great opportunity for them to think about their management system. And for those that support the management system, it's a really good way to think about well, maybe we should come back and reevaluate some of the tools we're pushing and try some of these other ones.
Well, and we have a time for doing that at the end of the summit. That was a nice segue there, Alex, because we haven't talked about the very end of the summit. We do get together and do a roadmap for success, and you will take all these things that you've learned, and especially your track is just full of things that people can go back and implement. But you take what you've learned at your pre-summit course, which there are others other than stopping human error, and you can go to our website and see what those are. And then once you've pulled out the information you have from all these wonderful tracks, at the end of the summit, you're going to sit down and we're going to walk you through making you a plan so you go back to work with a piece of paper that's going to tell you, here's what we need to do in our company.
And I think this is going to be a good year, especially with this track, because you're talking about gaining management support. That's the first step in that roadmap. Whose support do you need? Figuring out who are you going to be in contact with, who needs the information, the resources, how are you going to spread it? So this is going to be a good track, I think, for
really
lining up how to beef up your program.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fantastic. Something you can do if you see that there's something in another track that you may want to attend, you can swap out. So when you sign up for the summit, you don't have to just stick with, say you sign up for the compliance track and, well, you're a certified instructor. If you're a certified instructor, you're going to have to swap out one session, and that is the TapRooT Certified Instructor Recertification one. So you would, if you were wanting to be in compliance, you will need to swap out that session, and you can do that online. You'll be able to modify.
And I think what you're really saying is everybody's going to be swapping into this section because this is going to be the track.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I mean, those topics are really wonderful. But yeah, so you can modify if you need to, and that is one case where if you were a certified instructor, you would have to do that. So virtual and hybrid. I mean, virtual and in person. This hybrid type model, I think, is going to be exciting. We're learning a lot about how to put this on, and I think we're learning things that are going to help us in the future to be able to provide more types of educational opportunities to our clients.
Yeah, and I think an important note to mention with this, virtual or in person. I know a lot of our clients, at least people I've talked to, they're a little bit tentative to sign up right away because they're hoping if I could just wait another month, another week, that our company's policy will change as more people get vaccines, as more stuff. So our company policy will open up. The good thing about this is book now. We can swap you back and forth between virtual and in person.
Yes, we can.
You don't have to lock yourself into one.
That's right.
So if you want to sign up now and you find out in a month or two that, hey, no, I can't do it in person, I can switch to virtual, that's fine. Or sign up now and say, well, right now my policy is virtual, but I'm going to try to get this in person, and we can swap that. So don't wait. Don't hold off just to wait for your corporate policy. Get signed up today for this.
Exactly. We got a lot of planning to do, don't we?
It's busy season.
It is very busy, but that is a good point that Alex made. You can go ahead and get signed up, get registered, go ahead and get in your tracks. You really want to, in the pre-summit, there's a couple of pre-summit courses like risk management that you're limited in how many people can attend that one, and that's very popular. So if you're wanting to go to certain sessions like that, you definitely need to get signed up now so that you'll have a seat, even virtually. I mean, it's limited flat out.
I wouldn't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. So go to our website, go to taproot.com /summit, or there's a summit tab up in the right-hand corner. You go to that, and it pretty much steps you through the process. You'll kind of scroll down a little bit, and you'll have some boxes at the bottom, and you'll see register, you'll see pre-summit sessions, you'll see our keynotes. We have great keynotes that are coming to speak, and just all general information. So, Alex, thank you for all the hard work you put into this compliance track.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure being on TapRooT TV, and I'm excited for this track. It's the first year for it, so I think it's going to be super successful.
I think it is too. You've definitely got some great speakers that are going to be in here. All right, everybody. Well, give us a thumbs up if you think this is going to be an awesome track, because it really is. And hit our notification bell and
comment down below which summit track you're going to go to.
Yeah, go if you don't know what we're having. Go to our website and you can pull down and see the different tracks, and we're going to be doing videos like this on each track coming up. So just kind of stay tuned.
Comment and say you're going to the compliance one. That's the one to go to.
Yeah, we'll take a poll. We'll see who wins. a competition here.
Yeah.
But thank you, everybody. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms. And if you don't get our newsletter, definitely go to our website and sign up for that. That's how you find out what's going on and any changes that could be made, which in this day and age happens
It's a lot. It's
very
a lot in
quickly.
this day and age.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.